Hello, and welcome YouTube. My name is Alderdoodle. I am one part of Bard and Raven, and we are going to look at my edition for this week's weekly community homebrew challenge. As you might know, I, Alderdoodle, am hosting a weekly homebrew challenge over on Reddit and the Heart of Daggers Discord server, where every week we are taking a different piece of artwork, get inspired by it, and create a piece of homebrew with it so that people can directly use it. We're having tons of fun, and we're already in our 18th iteration. So we already had 17 weeks of homebrew fun with so many cool additions. I can highly recommend you all checking them out either on Reddit or on the Heart of Daggers Discord server. But let's look at today's artwork. And this is this beautiful over there, this beautiful sword with an ember blade and a little scorpion encased in it. That is pretty fun, and it evoked already so many ideas in me. But let's look at what I created today. And it was twofold. First, I just created a quite regular, quite normal sword, a weapon item. But it has a little twist. So let's have a look at it. So, as I mentioned, it is a greatsword, and it is for tier 2. It is melee range, which makes totally sense. But for the trait, we don't have agility or strength, which are normal traits for swords alike. But we have finesse. The idea behind that is that this sword is made of an ember blade, and ember is quite soft. It is not a hard material like steel, for example, of course, and it needs finesse to wield. That's why I chose this trait. Also, for a tier 2 greatsword, the damage would be normally d10 plus 6, but we chose d10 plus 3, mainly because, as I mentioned, since the ember is not that hard as steel, it won't do as much damage as a steel sword. So that's why I reduced the damage slightly, because it has a fun little feature. And weapon slot, of course, primary, burden, two-handed, so far so straightforward. Its feature is a fun one. I called it resin from resin. You will figure it out. I just love me some puns. The idea behind it is that once per short rest, the wielder can make an attack against an ally, and on a success, instead of marking HP, they can clear that many they can clear that many armor slots from their ally, as the ember of the blade is getting liquefied and mending the armor from the ally. I quite like the idea that basically an ally is doing some friendly fire attacking their allies, and the ember just swirls around their armor and mending it. That is pretty fun, I must say. And we also added a few requirements to this blade, because the wielder can't just use it by itself, because it requires mastery of the ember blade, which is pretty much similar or the same as attunement. But we added a little bit of a twist in it. So, to gain mastery of the blade, the wielder has to spend a long rest downtime action move to identify it. So basically, I identify its magic, identify its features, on how to use it, how to wield it. When they did this, they gained the ability to wield the sword, but not to use its feature yet. Because this is coming when they succeeded or when they scored a critical success. Any critical success, not just by hitting an adversary with the blade, but rather any kind of critical success that they would do in the world. The idea behind it is that this would be such a strong feat that the magic of the blade would basically accept the wielder and unleash its full potential to the wielder. And I quite like the idea of like, hey, I did something really heroic or really strong, and the sword recognized it, and now I have full access to it. That sounds at least fun to me. So after they succeeded any critical success, they gain access to the resin feature of the blade, but not only that. In addition, they gain access to a domain card. I still have to mark exactly the name of the domain card. I will do it later. they will gain access to a domain card and add it to their loadout. And the cool thing is that this card does not count towards their maximum loadout limit. Because, like, you only have a maximum loadout limit of 5, if I'm correct. But anyway, you have a limited loadout. And the higher you get, the more cool ability cards you get from your domains. And this one would count extra because it's tied to your blade, this ability. All right, but what is this domain card, you might ask? Let's go here. I created Vigil Scorpio. Right, maybe I should, let me quickly go back again. This thing is called Somnium Scorpio, so basically dreaming scorpion, because we have a little scorpion in there. And Vigil Scorpio is awakened scorpion, because you can do a little bit of shenanigans with this encased scorpion in the blade. But let me not get ahead of myself. So Vigil Scorpio, the spell, it's a domain card for Midnight Domain, but I will not limit this. So like if I would be the GM and a non-Midnight Domain wielding character would gain access to this sword and this ability, I would grant it to them. I have just Midnight because I like the flair of the domain, because I think it fits really well here. So Vigil Scorpio, spend a hope to make a spellcast roll, 15. On a success, unleash the scorpion encased in the Ember Blade until the end of the scene. See, I think I just memoed to myself I still have to change because Ember Blade was its project name. It is called Somnium Scorpio. Anyways, you unleash the scorpion and then you may command it to perform feasible actions like retrieving items, manipulating objects, or scouting missions. In addition, this scorpion may attack. To do so, you, the wielder, has to mark a stress and make an agility roll for the scorpion. And on a success, the target that the scorpion is attacking in melee range is then temporarily vulnerable and restrained because of the paralyzing effect of the venom from the scorpion. From scorpion. And to just make it clear how much the scorpion can tank, nothing. Any damage that the scorpion would get will cause the scorpion to return to the blade into the ember, stay encased until it is getting unleashed again. And I really like this combo that you have a blade that you have to basically identify, figure out what its features are, and once the blade has accepted you as a heroic wielder worthy of its features or worthy of its magic, then you gain access to its feature, the resin feature, and this particular domain card. So I'm quite happy how this came out. I hope you are too. If you are also inspired to create something with this particular artwork from Alderdoodle, I don't know if I mentioned this. This artwork is from Alderdoodle. Go find them. They're awesome. If you feel inspired to also participate in the weekly community homebrew challenge that, as I mentioned, I'm hosting on Reddit and Heart of Daggers, feel free to do so. Show us what you create. Show us either on Reddit or on the Heart of Daggers Discord server. Show us, let's discuss all of our different editions. It is always so much fun to see all of the people that are joining into this really cool homebrew challenge. And yeah, if you want to be part of the fun, feel free to do so. And also to wrap this video up real quick, Barton Raven also has now a free Patreon membership. Just go into the description where you can find it. It's patreon.com/BartonRaven. It is a free membership. You don't have to pay any dime. This should only serve for us as a repository of all of these different homebrew items and pieces that I've created over the weeks for this weekly community homebrew challenge. In addition, you get lots of different teasers and spoilers and behind-the-scenes materials for all of the stuff that Barton Raven that we are doing. For example, Zena, our artist, she is also showing then some progress of her art, which is a lot of fun. So I can highly recommend you going over there. But that should be it for now. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have fun with this scorpion blade and its different forms. You can pick it up immediately. Just look into the description. And I hope to see you in one of the next weekly homebrew design challenges. Have a good one. See you around. Bart, also the Bart, out.